Fidelity.
Big
Now,
news.
yeah, big news. Fidelity is now offering Bitcoin in their retirement plan, so in their 401ks for plan participants. I thought
Does
that
this
was pretty
mean
big news.
does this mean that Fidelity will allow it to be in their 401k plans, but it's still up to the administrators of the plan?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still up to the administrators of the plan. So the way I read it was that one, there's 23,000 companies that use Fidelity for the retirement plan. So not every company is going to want to implement this as an investment option in their plan, but they have a cap of 20%. So Fidelity imposes their cap of 20% max that anybody can put their current balance or future contributions into that Bitcoin holding account. But the administrator of the plan, so the company, can choose to set their own cap. So if they wanted to cap it at 10% or 15%, they could do so. They could also choose to not include as an option altogether.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. It's so odd thinking about Fidelity as the company that's been around forever and being on the forefront of this, but they've been kind of forward thinking when it's come to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So there's somebody in the room that's steering them this direction.
I mean, I think you have to kind of, if you're looking at just the way things are going and your Fidelity and thinking, this is a way for us to differentiate ourselves against our competition, to be kind of the first mover on allowing this option inside of our retirement plans. I mean, I like it. You got to think about what types of individuals in those companies are going to adopt this as an investment option. If it were my guess, I would think it would be some younger individuals who are a little more speculative, not individuals who are close to retirement. They might be a little bit more apprehensive to put 20% of their balance into Bitcoin, but it could be wrong. That would just be my guess, and thinking that if a plan for a large company has thousands of plan participants, there has to be a certain portion of those plan participants who want the option, because as companies move away from pensions, the burden has been put on these individuals, employees, to invest on their own behalf for their retirement. And as more and more people start to ask about Bitcoin and crypto and ways that they can maximize their returns for retirement, it's almost like it's inevitable, like the same thing with Goldman and Morgan Stanley and all those other firms that we've talked about. It's their responsibility to put those options in their plans.
So Fidelity is the top 401k provider by assets.
I would think so. 23,000 companies.
Yeah, they are. They're number one. Number two is Empower. We're pretty familiar with them. I saw that number three is Vanguard, and they said they have no plans of offering.
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
I did see that too.
It'll be interesting to see if any of these larger providers jump on board. I'm going to guess, yeah.
I wonder why Fidelity
is 4x to everybody else as far as assets. I mean, they're way ahead.
So I wonder why Vanguard would take that stance. Like, we have no intention. Why couldn't you say it's like a wait and see approach or something like that?
Well, like anything, there's always late adopters, right? So Vanguard doesn't have to, right? They just take their 5 bips off their funds, and they've got a ridiculously high revenue company. They don't have to. But Fidelity was that way too. They're low cost, relatively low cost, but it's really interesting to see this dichotomy of one company, both traditional companies, and one taking one direction and one taking the other, and we'll see where it ends up. But I'll make a prediction that all of these companies in the top 10 by, let's say, the end of next year are offering it. And I'm going to say Vanguard might be the only holdout, and they'll eventually offer it
next year. So end of 23. I was going to say by 25, but
I was also going to make a bold prediction earlier when we were talking about Goldman and Morgan Stanley, and say that they'll allow, because the Lightning Network for Bitcoin, so so efficient now. They'll allow, I bet they allow their customers, their clients, to pay their fees in Bitcoin by the end of next year.